Located along what used to be the St. Louis-San Francisco Railroad, the land that the park sits on is full of Eureka history. Until Route 66 was constructed through the area in 1932, Blakey Road connected the Vautour Bridge in Times Beach to East First Street in downtown Eureka. Within the park, there was a stone bridge that was built in 1898 that the road crossed Flat Creek. After crossing the creek, there was a notoriously dangerous railroad crossing that saw several major accidents over the years. In 1910, a Frisco train depot for the newly constructed Famous and Bar Outing Farm, located at 84 Lewis Road, was built somewhere in the vicinity of the park. From the depot, resort goers would be driven to the resort on Blakey Road. After the construction of Route 66, Blakey Road was cut off from Times Beach, and the section inside the park slowly faded away. Following a flood in the 1950s, the stone bridge was washed away, leaving behind a stone abutment. Around 1970, the Stonebridge Manor Mobile Home Park was built on the land, deriving its name from the remnants of the bridge on Blakey Road. At the center of the large community was a Fina gas station, where the park's restroom facility stands today. After years of flooding problems due to its location on floodplain, the mobile home park closed after the Great Flood of 1993, and was converted to a park by the city of Eureka in 1995. So this is Kircher Park in Eureka, Missouri. It was built in 1993 on what used to be the Stonebridge Manor Mobile Home Park. The mobile home park was built around 1970 and was used until the 1993 flood, which pretty much devastated the community that was here. Today the park is used for frisbee golf. It has 2 pavilions, a gazebo, and a playground. There's also a connector to the Flat Creek Trail, which takes you all the way back to downtown Eureka. It's a long trail, but it's beautiful. I think it's about 1.5 miles to downtown Eureka from here, so it's not too terrible of a walk. There's also a connector to Route 66A Park, which for those who aren't from this area was once the town of Times Beach. This is now called Flint Drive, but at one point this was part of Williams Road. They cut this part off in the 1970s to create a new bugle-shaped intersection on my right, because the crossing here was very dangerous. It used to go up and connect to Route 66, but so many people died there that they just knocked down the intersection. And here's the opposite side. So today the road curves to the left, which is the park's entrance, but at one point it just continued straight. Williams Road is a very long, straight road, or at least it was back then. So this is another angle of the park. This area was not always a field, or at least when it was a mobile home park. There were mobile homes all throughout this area with roads cutting in between. But when they made it a park, they got rid of all the roads. If you walk on the creek bank, you'll be able to see the remains of an 1898 bridge. Now, before 66 was built in 1932, Blakey Road used to go underneath the highway bridge and meander through this bridge and then go up the hill to Sacred Heart Church and connect to East First Street, which leads you to Eureka. So at one time, Blakey Road didn't stop at Times Beach. It went all the way to downtown Eureka. And this bridge was for the road. The bridge is in here somewhere. I think it's right in front of me. Yeah, it's right here. What I find cool is there's still pieces of the old bridge that are here, like twisted up rebar and what looks to be some kind of support for it. Also pieces of concrete. The other abutment for it is either gone or was never there. And then the road went up the hill over there. Could never tell there was a road here at one time. There is a cool sign along this trail about the park's history and a lot of local history too. The park was named after Leon Kircher, who was the mayor of Eureka in the 70s, from 1963 to 1967, and then again from 1973 to 1975. A lot of the parks in Eureka are named after the former mayors. They also include a little bit about Times Beach too. This is Stonebridge Road. It was the main road of the mobile home park that was here. It is still open to vehicle traffic, but only half of it. You can't go to the back of the park on the cars. You'll have to walk there. Here's a profile view of the bridge. It's held up pretty well. It's about 54 this year. It's no longer open to vehicle traffic, but you can walk on it as it's part of the Flat Creek Trail now. This was built around 1970 for the mobile home park and has received very little changes over the years. Before they cleared all this brush out around 2 years ago, this is completely surrounded by trees. It wasn't this open before. The frisbee golf course continues back here. Also, there used to be a little miniature train that ran in this side of the park, but due to constant flooding problems, they relocated to Union, Missouri about 4 or 5 years ago. It's a pretty quiet part of the park that isn't as frequented as the front of the park, because the front of the park has all the pavilions and playground. This side doesn't really have a whole lot except their frisbee golf course. Here's the backside of Kircher Park. Flat Creek Trail enters the backside where Eureka sewage plant is and follows Stonebridge Road to the front of the park. It's a beautiful area of the park that isn't as frequented as much as the front. As you can see, it is still open to vehicle traffic to an extent, but once the road hits the bridge, cars aren't allowed past that point. This side of Stonebridge isn't used for the Flat Creek Trail, which is why it looks like this. This is only for people that want to picnic out here, or I'm not sure exactly what the use is anymore. This is the Flat Creek Trail connector in the back of Kircher Park. This was created in 2014, so it's relatively new. It's about a 0.5 mile walk to downtown Eureka from here, so it's relatively close to all of Eureka's shops. This was once a road connecting Times Beach to Stonebridge, and people would cut across often when Times Beach was still here. Around this area was a train station for the famous and bar outing farm, which was about a mile east of here at what is now Beck Park. It was called Famous Station. It was built in 1910 when the resort relocated here from Crescent. Not sure what trail this is a part of, if it's part of Meramec Greenway or Flat Creek Trail. I think they're one and the same. And then this is Times Beach. That leads you to the Green Bridge, and then this side is, or used to be, part of Lincoln Drive. It's now on Google Maps known as Blakey Road, but historically this is Lincoln Drive. Lincoln led to two other mobile home parks that are back here, Sherwood Glen and Easy Living. They were right next to each other. This big open field here was the site of the two mobile home parks I mentioned. Sherwood Glen was on top of Easy Living. Easy Living was in this area. It's hard to imagine that hundreds of people once lived in this field. Here's some information about this. This is the Meramec Greenway, Route 66 State Park Trailhead. It is part of the Flat Creek Trail, like I thought. This map lists out all the parks and trailheads in the area. One of which is Beck Park. Glad to see it's recognized on here. So walking back to Kircher, there is a sign that lists all the areas that are close to here. So continuing on the Flat Creek Trail, this will lead you to downtown Eureka, which is actually closer to here than I thought. It's only 1.2 miles away. So this is the bridge over Flat Creek. There's been at least 4 or 5 bridges here since Route 66 was built here in 1932. Originally it was one bridge, and then in the 50s they widened 66 and made 2 bridges. And over the years, those original 2 bridges have been replaced and expanded, and eventually you got this. I believe this one was built in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there.